But guys, what's going on? So I'm back with a follow-up review for the Aurora Drift disposable weed pen. Now, about a week ago, give or take a day or two, I uploaded a video unboxing this guy, and I don't remember the exact rating I gave it. I think I gave it like an 8 or 9 out of 10. I'm not going to give you guys that my verdict right now. I'm going to say that more towards the end of the video for obvious reasons. First off, I want to give you guys a bit of a disclaimer. I'm not in any way, shape, or form paid to do these product review videos, whether it be from Aurora or when I do a product review like from the Herb Guard or the King Palm. These are reviews I'm doing strictly off the fact that I'm very open with these kind of things. I like reviewing products, if you guys can tell. So first things first, we're going to get into the cons, because I feel like with most, if not everything, when you're buying something, you want to know what the things that could go wrong, or the things you may not like first, as that could be something for you, or sorry, for me, it may not be a big issue, but if I bring it up to you and tell you, oh, this only lasted a week, you may say, well, hell no, that's not worth it, and then just, walk off. But for me, it may not be a big of an issue, and I may justify it. Anyways, so first things first, yeah, this only lasted me about a week, and I'm very, very disappointed in that for a few reasons. One of the biggest gripes I have with this product, absolutely hands down, has to be not just that it lasted a week, but the reason that I'm annoyed and disappointed about that is because of the price. That price being $35 Canadian. I'm not going to even mention the fact that I didn't bring up shipping, because I didn't pay for shipping. And that's just because on the OCS, they're not charging shipping through Canada Post. They're not charging any delivery fee, just for the time being, to make it a little bit more accessible for customers to buy the products. So normally speaking, I would have to pay an additional $5 to have it delivered, and that's regardless whether they get delivered to my front door or to my local post office. $5 fee. So this would have come out to about $40 with taxes and all that, maybe a little bit more. That being said, for that being considered, that's even more than I paid, and I would never recommend it for the $35 that I paid now, for the major reason it just doesn't last. Now you guys are going to say, but it's disposable, it's not meant to last. I understand that, and I definitely agree that thinking of the term disposable is something you should really consider strongly when you're listening to this review, or any review on this product or similar products alike. Now when it comes to how I used it, I want to point this out so you guys get an understanding of, again, why I'm disappointed. For $35, and I'm going to bring up the price a lot, because again, that's something I can't get over. $35, I took 2 to 3 second puffs, maybe about 4 or 5 times a day, 2 or 3, couple seconds puffs. So being that, few 2 to 3 second puffs a couple times a day, and it lasted me a week, I'm not taking hard hits out of this. So I expected it to last at least 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in the initial review. Don't at me if I didn't, but again, if I did it, well, I expected it to last about 2 weeks. And one other thing to consider is I'm going to compare this to an e-cigarette briefly for the factor of pricing. Again, I just can't get over that pricing. I apologize if this is annoying, I'm repeating myself about it, but the price is just too high. I think when you're going into a convenience store and you're buying an e-cigarette, you're spending upwards to about $20 for a decent one. For a cheaper one, you can get it for like $10-15. So that being said, you don't have to spend a boatload of money. Not that I'm saying $35 is a boatload, but you guys can make money. It's significantly more than $15 to $20. So for the extra $15, what are you getting? Well, you're getting high. That I kind of feel is where they, like Aurora Drift, tried to justify that $35 price jump, as opposed to getting like a regular e-cigarette or whatever. But this is where I'm going to bring that up. For an extra $15, $20, you can go and buy a vape that has a replaceable cart. Now that's about the base price for one of those things, if I'm not mistaken, that you can get yourself like a decent one. It's not the best. It's not going to be like fancy, with like varying heat settings and whatnot, but it's a vape pen that's got replaceable carts, nonetheless. That being said, I definitely think it's worth spending the extra $10, $15 on getting one of those as opposed to getting this, because the only person I can think that would really benefit from having one of these is somebody that's smack dab brand new, never tried a vape before, and is really nervous about trying it proper, like an actual vape, and maybe wants to go I don't even want to say cheaper alternative route, but maybe just doesn't want to dish out that little bit of extra money for a proper vape with replaceable carts because they're not sure of how they're going to like the experience. And I definitely agree, $50 is a little bit expensive for something that you're a little bit unsure about. So in that case, I would kind of justify buying this over that, but that's about it. Absolutely, I would recommend head over heels 10 of 10 times to go and buy that over this. And the next thing that I don't like is, and I apologize if I already mentioned this, I'm about to re-record this video a few times. There's no indicator of when this runs out physically on the product itself. Now, I believe I mentioned this A in the front here lights up, and actually I think, another thing about it, I'm pretty sure all of these kind of products, the front part, like where the A is on this one, the same part on all these kind of products from different, brands, lights up or does something where it indicates that it's actually being, used. That being said, that doesn't flash. Like with e-cigarettes, that part lights up, whatever, the color or white, whatever, but it flashes when it runs out or when it's running low. It kind of depends. I've tried different e-cigarettes. Some of them it flashes when it's completely empty. Some of them flash when it's really low. So take that as you will. This doesn't do any of that, and there's no way of actually knowing by looking at this product at all. There's no way at all to know this is running out at all. Again, I've said the word at all like a gazillion times. If you guys want to put a count number of how many times I said at all in the comments, do that. I'll pin it. But in all seriousness, yeah, there's no way of knowing when this runs out. So again, I understand they cut that cost of putting that kind of thing on here because it's disposable, but it's still something that would have been nice to know, because if you really did want to get a replacement for this, you have to buy a whole new unit. And well, if let's say you threw this out because you thought it was empty, but it just turns out that it was really low, yeah, not really, not happy about that. The reason I'm bringing this up is because one of the other things that I didn't like is this is fairly consistent throughout the whole week of me using this. There have been times where I have to take 15-second puffs just to get this initiated to start actually smoking with it. That being said, that's the reason why I just mentioned what I did about you may accidentally throw this out thinking it was empty. If there was some kind of little window to show me how much oil or whatever it is, extract, whatever you call it, I'm not sure, there was left in this product, that would probably save me time. Because if I know, the way that I know that this is empty now is because I don't taste anything, there's no smoke being produced, and obviously with that, needless to say, it does not get me high. So this is good for the garbage. Do I feel it's a waste of money? It's a waste of $35, but I'm not disappointed in the general sense that I bought the product. I'm disappointed in what I got out of the product, and just the fact that it didn't meet my expectations, even for a disposable vape pen or disposable weed pen. Now, in comparison to an e-cigarette, I'm going to bring up just a few little points before I get into the pros, because there's actually a few things I really like about this. It's essentially the weed equivalent. I wouldn't recommend one over the other, because again, it kind of depends on you as an individual. Do you smoke weed? Do you smoke cigarettes? And if so, I actually, now that I think about it, I'd more recommend an e-cigarette to a cigarette smoker than I would recommend, I'm going to call this, just for the sake of simplicity, an e-joint, or e-blunt, whatever you want to call it, e-joint, to a weed smoker, because of the fact that you get a lot more out of an e-cigarette because it's a lot cheaper. You will justify that price a lot more and a lot easier than you would for this, at least in my opinion. And keep in mind, I'm not a super heavy smoker. I will link you guys in the description or in the comments. I'll pin a couple different reviews from other YouTubers on this product. This exact same product, no difference. So you guys can kind of see other perspectives on this. Now, getting into the pros of this, the one thing that I really did like about this, actually, not so much with the performance, but the aesthetics of it. I think and I'm almost 100% sure I mentioned this in the initial review, the look of this product is really, really, really nice. Now, you guys can see my lips are not like sandpaper, so that does start to kind of wear off. Now, a little bit concerned about that because, you know, that comes onto your lips and shit, and yeah. But it definitely, it is what it is. Aesthetics, I really like the way they did this. It's pretty comfortable to use. It's pretty lightweight. It's got about the same form factor as like a pen, minus like the writing bit, and the comfort of holding it in your hand. Again, it's pretty comfortable. It's not inconvenient. I don't really think you could really say these are uncomfortable to use. Excuse me. But again, it is what that is. Next up has to be a little bit of a buzz that it did give. I actually like that. I'm not going to say it got me high, but I'm going to stick with the word buzz, because that's generally what I feel like I can describe it as. Not really a high, but a buzz. So you can take that as a pro or a con. You decide upon yourself. I'm going to give that actually both. It's a pro and a con. I like the bit of a buzz that it gave me, but I don't like the fact that it didn't really get me high. Considering this is a 73% THC product, it didn't really get me high, like knocked off my ass high. I wasn't expecting it to, but that's kind of the reason why I never really brought that up as like a downside or a con. But nonetheless, that's something to point out. Lastly, is its convenience. Its form factor is definitely a really, really big upside. It's not a big, bulky, like, you know, those big battery mods for like your vapes. That's not really something you could practically stick in your pocket and go along your day. You know, if, like for instance, earlier I was gardening. I've been gardening all morning. It is currently 11:03, and that being said, is it 11:03? Yeah. So 11:03, and personally speaking, it's something that I would have liked to have, you know, in my pocket while gardening and want to take a few puffs. Really nice about that, really convenient. But again, it just doesn't last, and that's kind of where everything is going to drop off, and this video is going to come to an end. So my final verdict out of 10, unfortunately, Aurora, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but this is going to get a solid 5. If I really want to be generous, I'll go as far as giving it a 6, but no more than that, because for this price, I understand you guys are going to make money. I understand it's a matter of, you know, they have to profit from it, but I just can't see, being that they do sell, you know, replaceable cart style vapes, why they wouldn't push that more than the disposable ones. I kind of feel like they're pushing these more than the disposable ones, and I feel they're getting away with that because of the fact that, for those of us who are not very familiar with vapes, the biggest reason why we're going to go with this is because we're saving a couple dollars. It's in like 10, 15, 20 bucks, and it's still money. But when you consider that for the money you're spending, it is, for the most part, just worth going and spending a little bit of extra money in getting a proper replaceable cart style vape. I would just, again, like I mentioned earlier, I would recommend those over this kind of disposable pen 10 of 10 times. So that being said, again, like I mentioned, my verdict is this is a 6 of 10 rated product in my opinion. If you guys have used this product or similar products, either from Aurora or from, you know, this style of product from another brand, let me know in the comment section details about that and your experience. And until next time, smoke on.